to bring the Selectmen's meeting for December 30th, 2013 to order. First order of business is to approve the previous meeting's minutes. Is everybody ready?
I make the motion, we accept the minutes as read.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the minutes of Selectmen's meeting December 9th, 2013. All those in favor? 3 in favor? None opposed? I'm going to do what I have started to do now for the last 2 meetings, is read last minutes for the last meeting, and I'd like to go to the financials. Before the warrants, we had $49,589.33, warrant of $43,285.88, payroll warrants $29.20, another payroll warrant of $1,201.55, left us a balance of $2,181.34. Didn't make the newspaper, nobody mentioned it. The town was down near broke. But we worry about things that I don't think we need to worry about when we're not doing what we're supposed to do. I stated my case. Now I'll read this week's financials. Before the warrants, $53,913.99, warrant of $17,314.87, payroll warrant of $2,286.41, leaves us a balance of $34,312.71. Old business, Reads Across America transfer.
I called MMA, as I was asked at the last meeting. I spoke with Mike Stoltz the morning of 12/11/2013 regarding the warrant article, which appears to be of concern. Mr. Stoltz asked me if the warrant article had been voted on. I told him it had. He said then there was nothing that could be done unless someone felt strongly enough to take it to court. It should have been questioned at the meeting, not after the fact. Once the people have voted, the decision was made. He did ask what the concerns were, and I shared with him the land issue, questions about negotiations since it had already been given away. Mr. Stoltz read the article and said his interpretation of the article was to convey ownership of the building to Reads Across America and that it was clearly stated that voters gave the selectmen permission to take care of the details and legal issues. He then told me that even if the article was not worded perfectly, the intent was there. He asked if I thought people understood the intent and if we'd had a public meeting to discuss this issue. I told him we'd had 2 meetings, at which both times there was great discussion about the transfer. He again reiterated the intent of the article as being the key factor. So he found nothing to be illegal about that warrant article.
How are we going to proceed with this? Should I get in touch with Karen and have her bring forth a proposal to us, and then we go over that proposal, critique it, add, subtract? How do you want to do this?
Somebody's got to start. Somebody has to start.
See, so that would be a start. That would, you know, they
Go
could...
from there.
I don't know how we could take a proposal to her.
Right. She's the one that kind of initiated this. Okay?
Great.
I'll get in touch with her this week, just as soon as I can make an appointment with her, and just have her bring something forth and write it to us.
Right.
And we'll go from there.
Yep.
Make sense? Okay. Next item of business, Code Enforcement Officer.
This is the position we know has been vacant for quite some time. Our animal control officer was in here today. I've received several complaints about a trailer on the Tibbetstown Road, which has sewer running directly from it outside. Well, without a code enforcement or a health officer, don't know who to send that to. Our animal control officer was in today, and he's very interested in filling that position. He does it for Beals Island. He's not totally certified, but he has a year to get certified. He's been taking some of the classes and is registered for some of the training. So he wanted to bring it to you guys and tell you that he would be interested in filling that position.
He does it for Beals Island.
That's what he said.
And he has a year to comply with regulations.
Yeah.
And what's he get paid?
I think it's $1,200, I think is what it is, on the, which he wouldn't, of course, for this year get.
Right.
That I would think it would have to be prorated. The year's almost at an end, but I think that's what the, it's on $1,200.
I think we should pursue it.
I think it's prudent that we contact Beals to see if they want to share some of the costs of the training.
Like we do with the...
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, like
So
he's
if
gonna
they,
be around.
if 2 of us want to do it, it seems like we ought to pay,
Yeah.
they should pay.
But I'll make the motion that we contact Beals Island and see if we can enter into a contract with them to employ them, and then hire him to do it. Second it.
Been moved and seconded to contact Beals, and I suppose we should talk with this fellow also at the same time. All those in favor? 3 in favor? None opposed. Any other old business? New business. Approved January calendar.
As you will see, on the 9th, I've had to put closed for training, and I will, the 10th as well. Inland fishery,
Fishery and Wildlife.
yeah, there we go. Has training. It's a 2-day training for registrations of ATVs, snowmobiles. Then it's another 2-day training for fishing, hunting licenses, which is a lot, and I've never taken it because it was been closed in the office for 2 days. It's usually in Augusta. Well, I had an issue come up, and their help people aren't very pleasant, and she was extremely rude the day that I called her and said, well, if you'd taken the training, you would know how to do this. Okay. So there is a training in Bangor on the 9th and 10th of January. So I've signed up because it is something I've been here 2 years and I have not taken it. So
Is there no cost
there's no
from the
cost
state?
other than
you?
right.
Okay.
But
Now,
there is no cost.
Do we help with transportation?
Yes.
Yes,
exactly.
yes. Yep.
And I'll have to be paid Friday because that's not a normal work day. It's something I have to take, and at another point in time, I do have to sign up for the 2 day. I don't see what there is in 2 days' time, but it's not for me to decide.
I make a motion that Nancy attends that training.
Second it.
Been moved and seconded for Nancy to attend the Inland Fisheries and Wildlife Training on the 9th and 10th of January. All those in favor? In favor? Opposed? General Assistance backup.
Our general assistance person has been ill. She had 2 requests the other day while she was sick. She's the only one, because of confidentiality, that is allowed to do that. Nobody can fill in for her. Mary Ann was kind enough in Columbia to take those 2 applications for her because she is general assistant there. So I guess Jerry checked with the state, and it's all right for the selectmen to appoint somebody who could be her backup person if the time should arise again that she's unable to take a general assistance application.
Would you be willing to do that?
I don't know how much training is involved ahead of time.
Last time I had that job, it cost me money.
I know. You shouldn't be so generous.
I felt bad for those people. It's not good. I'm not good at it.
So I don't know. I don't know what training there is involved with it.
There's not a lot. We had one workshop type of thing. There's a booklet. It's pretty self-explanatory.
So I guess if that's what you want, if that's what you
want to look
me
into
to,
it and get back to us?
why don't I do that? I'll check with her and see what is involved.
Okay.
Okay, I will, to see time-wise. I mean, we don't get a lot of requests. We've already had more this year than
I think we
we've had.
will, though, because of the weather and because of the early winter.
Right.
Money for WHCA and all that.
Right. Okay, why don't I do that, and then I'll bring my findings to the next meeting?
Yep.
Okay.
Any other new business? Move on to offices and committees. Mike Bailey?
As you know, we're in the winter. We've had some winter. Wondering if you gentlemen had any issues of the plowing or heard anything. I've had a couple of complaints, mostly about the intersections downtown not being cleaned out. I've voiced that and got another call into Brian about this storm, but I think that will be resolved. The town landing in that area, that's nothing to do with me, but I wanted to bring up the issue of why we plow the town landing and why we plow so much of the old community room. There used to be, there was a parking lot down there. Now there isn't. We plow off the firehouse and there's sufficient parking for the fire people, but it's a personal thing more than a professional thing is why we're plowing this. So that's up to you people, not me. So I'm just bringing up that issue.
What's the problem with the landing itself? Not plowing far enough or wide enough? Or?
Well, Peter had an issue about plowing up towards his camp, I believe. They used to do it, now they don't.
They haven't last 2 or 3 years. I'd asked about it. Now it's up to you guys.
What brought up an issue to me, personally, is why we even do it, and probably the answer is we always have. So I don't know that issue. And also the area of the community parking lot, I mean, the gentleman's got the contract, he plows the whole thing, but why does he have to?
Other than we're already paying him for it this year, I don't see changing it this year.
Yeah, but I'm just,
Yeah.
it's a question, that's all.
Yep.
For the plowing lot.
What do you have to do, Pete? Just plow up just a little bit further?
Well, it
or-
was before when Normie had the place, and then I guess after Von Oliver, that was considered town road.
Yeah.
They plowed down, okay? And then when, I think Vance, they closed it off up there, they was coming in and whipping up to that house right for the camp. Now the house is vacant, so I just asked, why they hadn't been doing it. They didn't last year.
Question, why couldn't we make a deal with him to cut back on the parking lot at the firehouse and go up there?
I don't know, you just have to strike a deal. I think you just say, just plow up just another 20 feet. Ain't very far, I don't think.
It's really not an issue with me, I mean, it's up to you guys. But I do agree with you, you only need one road down through there, that's what he did this time.
Right.
I can look off the house.
You know, I don't know why it's plowing the whole parking lot.
Park
They
at
could have
me,
been done to
so
plow
you
that,
guys been plowing
which
the
we
driveway.
don't need as a town.
Right.
And as bad a winter as we're gonna have, I mean, it would be common courtesy, if we don't need it, to say,
Right.
why don't you just make sure you plow the road down there, and while you're doing that, could you plow it one pass up towards
Just
the
a
other
couple
way there, and
spots
turn
around
around up there or something? Maybe make that deal with them, you know, just, why we're plowing it, I don't know, but if we wanna plow it, we ought to do it what makes sense.
Yep. Okay.
Well, that's so we don't need a load on that road.
Well, you're gonna before long,
Okay.
maybe you would right now, as frozen that is, which I could go down to my tractor and just open that up once, that's not a big deal. If you wanna do that.
Why don't we do that? You got his number?
I do, have him call
Yeah.
you to discuss
Yeah.
it, and, because that makes no sense to you.
Yep.
Okay. You wanna make a motion on that, or is that not necessary?
Just
Okay,
have the road commissioner take care of
okay.
it. Tony Santiago.
Union Hall. I've got 6 items tonight. Grants. On December 30th, the Belvedere Historic Preservation Committee and Maine Community Foundation regretfully declined our funding request. That's the one I was really hoping we would get. Since then, I had a discussion with the foundation program officer for Down East, and it is my feeling, just my gut feeling, that next year the town will have success with this request by talking to her. The committee is now working with the grant writer and will be submitting a grant application to the Morton Kelly Charitable Trust Fund. Also, an application will be sent out to the Davis Foundation this spring. Number 2, water and sewer. Last week, Jay, you brought up some concerns about that, so I'll address that in this paragraph. The committee made, at our last committee meeting, the committee made the water and sewer hookups one of our 4 goals for 2014. We did that a few months ago, but I dropped off those goals to you guys. On 12/18, I had a discussion pertaining the installation of a 1,500-gallon waste holding tank with Dean Bradshaw. You guys also have that schematic of that. I stated that the selectmen had a concern with the installation of the tank and the soil caving in while installing the tank. Mr. Bradshaw stated that the soil type does not present a danger and that as long as a qualified excavator person does the installation, he sees no apparent problem in installing a tank in that area. The soil will accept it easily. In regards to the water hookup, the committee is exploring the option of having a well installed on the property. Discussions with a local plumbing inspector have been held in regards to the well installation. It's not an impossibility, but it would take some looking into. Discussions also have been held with Mr. Hugh Driscoll and Mr. Brian Tibbetts in regards to hooking up to the Allen Water Company. Mr. Tibbetts stated he was made aware of this being a possibility back in 2004 or 2005. Note the state form I left you stating that the Water Allen Company had been notified. I left you guys, and it was checked that they had been notified. It didn't have a year on it, but he thinks it was 2004, 2005. He also stated that an extension would be required from in front of Dance Jr.'s house at town's expense down, 20, 30 feet, whatever it is, to then go across the road. Both Mr. Driscoll and Mr. Barney Tibbetts are very helpful in this matter. The interior drawing. The committee will add ceiling strapping to that drawing, which isn't on there, and dimensions for a pull-down stairway to be put in that bathroom area. The committee also recommends, with your approval, of course, voting to move ahead so the committee can get bids out in the near future. So that would require a motion tonight, but we'll skip past that right now. We have a new plaque. The committee has a new National Historic plaque that we received. Looks very nice, and we'll install it in the spring. Funds. The Union Hall Town Raise Funds are part of the reserve account. The committee recommends the selectmen set up, or at least explore setting up, a separate sole funds account in lieu of having the funds included in the reserve account. Now, this is something the committee came up with. Basically, I'm laying it out to you guys. It's a recommendation, and then you guys take it from there. Piano. The committee is very happy that John Porter has offered to donate a piano to the town for use in the Union Hall. The last piano we had fell through. The committee recommends having the piano checked out by a piano specialist, is what I call him. Mary Lambo has been in contact with a guy named Al Hedafine. He has stated by email at $45 to $60 estimate. He could look at it, drive here from wherever, Ellsworth or something, look at it and say, yay and nay, yeah, you know, it may need some tuning up, but it's well worth it. And I've mentioned it to John, and he's fine with that. So that I'll need a motion on if you want to move ahead with that. And the next meeting is January 9th at my house at 6 p.m. and all are invited. That's all I have.
Do you want to go ahead with the piano? You want the piano?
Yes, we do want the piano. We're getting an organ and a piano. We're getting an organ from Nancy Herr, and the piano would be something that would be very useful down there, of course. Yes.
Okay, I'd like to make the motion that we give that committee the go-ahead to put out bids for the project.
Second it. Been moved and seconded to allow the committee to put out their bids for the work to be done, interior work. All those in favor? 3 in favor, none opposed?
When do you think this work's going to start, Tony?
Well,
When you looking
I'll
for
work
it to
on the
work,
bids
Stan?
probably in the next week or two. Run it by the people on the 9th, the committee on the 9th, then I'll show it to you fellas on your next meeting. And so I'd say within 4 weeks we should have bids going out. So.
Question, you and Dave were going to look into the possibility of having the fire marshal.
Yep, and Dave's going to contact me. He said it would be sometime in January. So, and he didn't have a firm date yet on that.
I'll make a motion that we authorize them to call the piano expert.
That's it.
It's been moved and seconded to contact the piano expert, come look at the piano. All those in favor? 3 in favor?
Okay.
Opposed? That's the two that you...
That's the two, yes. Yep. The other ones are just for your discussion and whatever.
All right.
What are your personal thoughts on the one that the committee proposed of setting up this special account?
Well, I'm the chairman of the committee, and the committee
Right.
took a vote, and they wanted to go in that direction. Now, if I'm, as a citizen, I see no issue with the way it's going now, but the committee recommends going in that direction.
How much do we have in that account?
15,000. Roughly 15,000.
And one thing that Jim Wadman has recommended that we be careful of is separating too much money. We don't have working capital. If we set up separate accounts for everything, then we don't have money to work with. And another thing, this had been discussed at one point in time, and we're going to take it, there's some confusion as to when people raise that $5,000 at town meeting, is it to be put aside or is it to be spent on repairs for the year? And at that time, the selectmen decided it would have to really go before the people at town meeting to make that decision on what they intend.
How was that worded? Was that just for
Town hall repairs is how it's been worded
Repairs.
forever. But just because it has.
It never was specified for a certain project. 'Cause I
No,
know at one
no.
time we did some money for a belfry account.
Yeah, no, this is
That-
always the last,
that
since
just-
I've been involved, it's always just
Just general.
specified strictly repairs, that's it.
I don't think we should set up a separate account just because we've never declined to pay a bill. I mean, there's always money there, and we have the option,
I guess if you use this for an example, we're talking about some work going on in interior. We're thinking 5,000 roughly, whatever. Right now, if the bids went out 4 weeks from now, 2 weeks later, a guy built the inside, will he have the 5,000? He will. So that's an example. I don't see
We have
any
the
problem.
ability to borrow money if we have to. I mean, that was money that was set aside for a specific purpose, you know, Irene Town Hall repair. I mean, no different than paying the plow down. I don't
Money
see
ever not been paid?
Right, no.
No, delayed, and that's only been recently,
Right.
delayed a week.
Yeah.
I do have, so already, since the end of last week and this week, 23,000 more that's come in
We'll need it.
in property tax, and we haven't received a mayor raise yet. So, or Baylor Hydro, whichever you choose to call it.
Now, if you'd asked for it 3 weeks ago when we had
But that might have been what flagged it
well,
along,
then,
you know.
see,
it
we
might
can
have-
get money within 2 days.
Right.
All we have to do is go to the bank, sign the
I'm not
note.
saying for sure that's what it was. I'm just
Right.
saying that might have
Right.
been a
I
flag.
understand. Yep. Anything else, guys? Yes, I'm open to a motion to adjourn.
One thing that has nothing to do with anything, other than the fact when you guys look over the warrant, we got the electric bill for this building. It's over $1,100 this month
Mhm.
for electric for this building, which is
How much was it last month?
8 something.
Yeah, mine went up too. Not that much, but it went
That's
up.
a lot, I don't know what, well, because the actuator runs almost steady.
Yes, Pete?
Wait till they figure out the cost of this stuff.
We speak, can we allowed to speak here?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's kind of a shame not to see the little Christmas tree being lit down here. It has been for the last 20 years. And I don't know if you know the history of that tree down there. Alan probably does. But back around 1993, a group of us got together with Stan Look and Susie we had a little recreation committee. And we bought the benches, we bought the flagpoles, we did some work on the people. We had that tree put in. And every year, volunteers decorated it. Bernard,
Brown?
Bernard, Jewel, Bernard Jewel, myself, a whole bunch of people. And we went out and bought lights, and every year we decorated it. The salmon hatchery usually had an open house, and then we always had stuff for the kids at the old building. And we sang carols. It was a big deal. Robert Look a lot of times helped us when the tree got larger, you know. But a lot of people came to see that and came to buy land for kids. And this year it wasn't. And I just think it's a shame, because a lot of people put a lot of work in that. And I got out of it about, 7 or 8 years ago, because another group wanted to take it over. So I turned over all the stuff to them. But it hasn't really been kept up the way it should. But it's something, when you drive by, you see it from the road, you know, from Route 1, and it makes the town look good.
Yep.
And to me, I saw disappointed this year that wasn't up.
I agree.
Well, I had issues with my truck 3 weeks in a row, and I couldn't
Well,
get the bucket truck.
the history for the last 2 years is that Jay and I put them on, like 2 years ago, or last year, and the lights we bought were pieces of junk. And we took, I don't know how many extension cords and how many times we had to go up and down that tree. So I bought all brand new lights that Robin and I had donated. And these are of better quality, but between my heading south for a week or so and Jay's truck not working, we just didn't get it. But we should make a good effort to get that tree next year.
Now,
The the problem is, you have so many volunteers, and that's the way it is. I know I did it for probably 10 years, you know? and you go up there, and you know, and you can't get people to help you, and I understand that.
Right.
Believe me, I understand it. And so I'm not criticizing that, I'm just saying, I think as a town, you know, maybe you guys saw to it that this is done every year, so it doesn't.
By a date,
By
by
a
a
certain date.
certain date.
Yeah, we used to do it, I think, the day after Thanksgiving, or the
Right.
night before
Well,
Thanksgiving.
Friday after
I-
Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
I
it's a big
had,
deal.
I had a saber clown, and I never even thought of that, I could hang the lights on that thing.
And this year,
I didn't
the,
do a bucket truck,
the
but I never even thought of
Methodist
it.
minister was gonna do a slight lighting ceremony and everything like Pete used to have too, so. If we
Now,
should get after
The
that.
electricity for that tree comes from the hatchery.
Yeah,
Yeah,
plug it in the
they
hatchery.
have no issue with that.
Is there any reason we couldn't bury some underground line up close to the tree?
That'd be ideal with a
Stop
plug.
having a long straight
That would be much better.
Put it on a post or something.
Because like this, I remember one year we had the ice, during the ice storm, you know, the cable's underneath the rear.
Right.
That would be ideal.
That would be ideal.
I gotta have the electrician come back and look at one of the lights that's busted on the front down here, so, when better weather comes.
We have time to sit on it.
I'll ask him about that and let you know what he says
Okay.
about that.
I was looking at Christmas lights at Walmart the other day, and a lot of the new LED lights, you can hook 25 strands
Oh, really?
together,
Yeah.
which is quite an improvement.
Yeah.
I mean, the other
Well, that
you could
might be
do
what we bought, I'm
four
not sure what they.
or five,
Yeah.
but with the new LEDs, you can put 25 strands.
Yeah.
And I would like to say that I'd be happy to help you
No,
with that
all right,
next year.
very good.
So.
Now that we're on the subject of trees and things like that, what about flowers next year for the bridge? Lynn's not in the flower business anymore.
She
She's
is?
had a hip replaced and she's not gonna be
geez.
doing
No
flowers.
kidding, no kidding.
She's gonna have another one, she's gonna have a
Wow.
so
So
we've
she,
gotta look elsewhere. And I almost think we've had 6 down there for the past few years. I think maybe we ought to go back to 4, because it was quite expensive. It was
yeah.
300 some
Well, it
dollars.
would be, for that distance, it's not
Yeah.
a very long bridge.
Right. But that's something we've gotta look at too, because those look good.
Oh, yeah, it looks very
Maybe
good.
those two projects ought to be dealt with at our next selectmen's meeting at the beginning of the new year, the tree and the flowers.
And can I just add in, was she responsible, or Charlie responsible for the flowers around the benches at Cole Museum?
Well, see, I don't know.
I don't know who, I know Charlie took care of them.
That's in, by the tree?
Yeah, by the flagpole that's next to that.
See, I don't know.
Somebody
I know
put that.
Charlie waters all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know
Whether
who
he
put
plants
those
it or not,
in.
I don't know.
That's something that ought to be looked into too, in case it was Lynn.
I think Mary Lamoureux does the,
Yes, she does the Union Hall
Union
monuments.
Hall.
Yeah.
okay.
If you got volunteers, I'd be willing to,
Yep.
you know, do that.
Would you be willing to organize that?
I'd be willing to organize it. Yeah.
Think it over and get back to us next time.
Next
What is
time.
that for the little park there with the hatchery?
Yeah.
Next time, we should also consider looking at a calendar to pick out budget meeting dates and things like that. Because it's almost that time of the year.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Okay, moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor? 3 in favor, none opposed. We're adjourned.